Welcome to Edulution 2.0. Edulution was originally created as an answer to the COVID-19 pandemic when the world went remote and students lost their opportunity to be in the classroom. To help prevent students from falling behind, Edulution filled the gap for those who didn't have Wi-Fi or technology. Edulution has supported the community for over 2 years, filling the educational divide through equity and access, ensuring that all students have a fair chance to learn and succeed in life. Our host is Ms. Pia Rosa, a Bronx-born and raised educator with a heart for her community. Let's start the show.
Today's episode will be about art. Do you like coloring? What tool do you like to use to color? Crayons? Markers? Crayons? I love to use markers because markers make everything so much brighter.
Hi everyone, my name's Miss Wood and I'm from the Bronx Children's Museum. Today I have a fun finger painting activity for you all about plants. As you know, plants are all around us and they're so important to our environment. Today we're going to make our own plant paintings. To complete this activity, you'll need a couple of sheets of paper. This is some poster board paper I got at the local drugstore, but you could also use computer paper, construction paper, whatever you have around the house. You just need a couple of sheets. You'll also need a set of watercolors. If you don't have watercolors, you can use food coloring, an ink pad, or acrylic or tempera paint. You'll need a cup for water and a paper towel. You'll also need a spray bottle if you can. It's not necessary though, but you will need your favorite plant. Now that we have our materials and our plants, I'd like to take some time to observe your plants. If you have a plant at home, bring it to the table. A real plant is always better. But if you don't, that's okay. You can pause this video and use a photograph of a plant. So let's look around here. What colors do you see? What shapes do you see? For example, this aloe vera plant has like a muted kind of olive green tone and has these triangle-shaped leaves. What does it feel like? Well, the edges of this plant are pretty sharp and they have these kind of little horns on it. And does it smell like anything? I don't think it smells like anything. Let's look at the rosemary bush. The rosemary bush has all these thin leaves and it's really kind of tickles when you touch it. The leaves are hard, but they're very thin when you look at the aloe vera, so it's different, right? And they have a very strong smell where the aloe vera had no smell. Look at your plant and see if you see any differences. What does it smell like? What kind of colors does it have? What shapes do you see? So now that we've observed our plants, we're ready to paint. So you want to set up your painting station. You want a few pieces of paper, your watercolors, your tub of water, and your favorite plant. If you can, stand while painting. It helps you focus more and it activates the whole body. So the first thing I want to do is wake up my paints. They've been taking a nap, and just like plants, these watercolors need water to wake up. So I can take my finger and drop some water in each of the paints, or I can use my spray bottle and just spray to wake them up. Okay, Now that we're going to be using our fingers as our brushes, I want us to experiment a little bit with making different types of marks. I want us to see what happens when we add paint to wet paper versus dry paper. Let's try that. So I'm going to just put my fingers in the water and I'm going to wet the paper on one side and this side's dry. So let's see. I'm going to put some in. I'm going to see what happens. Oh, it's really... See what happens when we add more water. We can really move the paint and you can see the paint kind of move on its own. Let's see what happens on dry paper. It kind of stays in its place a little bit more, right? Let's see what happens when we press really hard on the paper versus pressing really light. So I'm going to use a little red and I'm going to really press hard. And then I'm going to start to press lighter. Let's see what happens if I press a little lighter. My marks get smaller. What happens if I use the side of my finger? Let's see. Okay. Do we think I can make a pattern? I think I can with 2 fingers. Let's try. That kind of looks like a caterpillar. And what happens if I can push the paint? Let's see what happens if I push the paint back and forth, or pull the paint across the paper. I want you guys to experiment with making as many marks as you can on this paper. Try mixing the colors. This pan right here is a really good spot to mix the colors. So maybe I want to mix a little yellow with orange. Let's see what happens there. Add a little red. See what happens. Maybe I can make like a rainbow. Now, we're going to start painting, and I'm going to paint this orchid right here. There's no right or wrong way to paint, but you always want to keep observing and looking for all the information. The information for this painting is in the plant. So let's get started. However you want to start is fine. With dry paper, wet paper, you decide. So I'm just gonna wet my paper a little bit with my finger, and I'm just gonna get started. There's no right or wrong way, okay? And I'm looking at the orchid, and I'm trying to see what shapes do I see? What do I see that make it really look like an orchid to me? I'm using my whole paper. I'm adding some watercolor in the water and watching it disperse. Then I'm gonna move over here, do the same thing. There's no right or wrong way. You decide. Of all the ways you made marks just before, you have the information. I'm gonna mix some colors in my palette over here. Okay, friends, I hope you had as much fun today as I did, and I would love to see all of your paintings, so please share them with me if you can. Okay, until next time, friends, keep painting and have fun. Bye!
My parents were like firm believers in like education. They always told us they'd give us anything we wanted as long as, you know, we brought home good grades and went to school every day. So we could not bring anything home less than like an A or a B. So yeah, I was just always, I guess, super book smart, a nerd, I guess.
Hello and welcome to music. My name is Miss Phillips and I teach music to students at Grant Avenue Elementary School in the Bronx in District 9. I am so excited to make music with you today. Before we get started on today's musical story, you're going to need to find an instrument or some object at home that makes music. I have my tiny xylophone, which is called a glockenspiel here. It sounds like this. You can find either an instrument that we might find in music class or anything that makes music. So for instance, if I had a bottle that had maybe some like vitamins inside it, I could use that to shake or tap to make sound. So as soon as you have an instrument or something that makes music, we're ready to go. All right, got your instrument? We're going to practice a few musical opposites that you will need for the story. So right now, can you show me up and down, high and low? On my xylophone, I might go high, low, high, low. I can also go low, and I can move high. If yours doesn't sound like mine, no worries. You've got other options. You can either like shake your instrument high or low or play it up and down. All right, so we got high and low. Now, can you try making sound and silence on your instrument? Let's make sound. Now silence. Pretty easy. What's another musical opposite? Fast and slow. Can you make your instrument sound fast? You're going to play a lot of sounds with not much space between them. And what about slow? You're going to put a lot of space between those sounds. The last opposite we'll need is loud and quiet. Can you play your instrument loud? Can you play your instrument quiet? All right. We're ready to go. We have 4 characters in this story. Little bunny Foo-Foo, field mice, a good fairy, and a goon. Can you say that word? Goon. I want you to be listening this first chapter of the story for musical opposites that you hear me playing with the different characters. After this first round, we'll figure out which opposites go with which characters. For right now, play your instrument with me. Ta, sh, ta, sh, ta, sh, ta, sh. Little bunny Foo-Foo hopping through the forest, scooping up the field mice and popping them on the head. Well, down came the good fairy, and she sang as the bunny hopped, ta, sh, ta, sh, ta, sh, ta, sh. Little bunny Foo-Foo, I don't want to see you scooping up the field mice and popping them on the head. I'll give you 3 more chances. Can you count with her? 1, 2, 3. And if you don't behave and start treating those field mice nicer, I will turn you into a goon. And up went the good fairy. Did you hear the musical opposites in the story? When the bunny went ta, sh, ta, sh, ta, sh, ta, sh, which musical opposite was that? It was sound and silence. So anytime little bunny Foo-Foo does something in this story, you're going to make your instrument go ta, sh, ta, sh. Sound, silence, sound, silence. What about the field mice? That was quiet and loud because first bunny Foo-Foo scoops, scoops, and then bop, 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 very loud, quiet moving to loud. How did the good fairy sound like musical opposites? First she went And then when she left, she went low and high, down and then up. And last, the goon is a little tricky. Did you hear the 3 chances and then the goon sound opposite? That's because the 3 chances were slow. 1, 2, 3. And the goon was very fast. So let's use those musical opposites for the next chance of the story. Little Bunny Foo-Foo has already used up one of his chances, so he has 2 left. Let's see what happens. Sound and silence, here we go. Ta, sh, ta, sh, ta, sh, ta, sh. Little Bunny Foo-Foo hopping through the forest, now quiet and loud, scooping up the field mice and bopping them on the head. Did he change his ways? No, he didn't yet. Down came the good fairy, go low. And she said, go back to Little Bunny Foo-Foo's ta, sh, ta, sh. Little Bunny Foo-Foo, I don't want to see you scooping up the field mice and bopping them on the head. Did you get that quiet and loud? She said, I'll give you 2 more chances. Let's count that slow on your instrument. 1, 2. And if you don't behave, I'll turn you into a, get ready for fast sounds, goon. That's 1 more chance. And up went the good fairy. Let's see what happens next. Ta, sh, ta, sh, ta, sh, ta, sh. Little Bunny Foo-Foo hopping through the forest, scooping up the field mice and bopping them on the head. Down came the good fairy. And she sang, Little Bunny Foo-Foo, I don't want to see you scooping up the field mice and bopping them on the head. I'll give you 1 more chance. Let's count that slow. 1. And if you don't behave, I'll turn you into a goon. Little Bunny Foo-Foo has no more chances left. He has 1 chance, but now let's see what happens. Will he continue bopping the field mice, or will he change his ways? Ta, sh, ta, sh. Little Bunny Foo-Foo hopping through the forest, scooping up the field mice and petting them on the head. Down came the good fairy. And she sang, ta, sh, ta, sh. Little Bunny Foo-Foo, how I love to see you scooping up the field mice and petting them on the head. I gave you 3 chances. Count that slow. 1, 2, 3. And you changed your ways. Instead of bopping the mice, you petted them. Good work, Little Bunny Foo-Foo. Good choice. Because now I don't have to turn you into a goon. And they all lived happily ever after. The end. Give yourselves a round of applause. I hope you had fun making musical opposites on your instrument with Little Bunny Foo-Foo and all the characters in their story.
What's your favorite sound? Mr. Softy! Have you ever heard that ice cream truck drive past your window? That has to be one of my favorite sounds that I hear in the spring and summertime.
The Bronx Edulution. We are Bronx Strong.
Hello, boys and girls. Today we're going to be learning about the different animals in the safari and the wild. So have a seat and get ready for our song.
If you want to be a tiger, growl out loud. Grrr, grrr. If you want
want to be a crocodile, go snap, snap.
If you want to be a monkey, jump up high. If you want to be a monkey, jump up high. If you want to be a monkey, really want to be a monkey. If you want to be a monkey, jump up high. If you want to be a giraffe, stretch up tall. If you want to be a giraffe, stretch up tall. If you want to be a giraffe, really want to be a giraffe. If you want to be a giraffe, stretch up tall. If you want to be a hippo, stomp your feet. If you want to be a hippo, stomp your feet. If you want to be a hippo, really want to be a hippo. If you want to be a hippo, stomp your feet.
Thank you for joining me for another episode of Bronx Edulution, a place where we can have fun while learning together. I hope to see you soon, friends. Take care.
The Bronx Edulution. We are Bronx Strong.